Ukrainians, rebels with Russian equipment shoot down, again, a Malaysian airliner over their airspace. I think that can be ruled out. There's no kind of capability of that kind on the sea or on the ground. No, there is at that height. It could be easily be done, but you'd need a state to do it. You need equipment that is available only to a state. Then, of course, the natural speculation is going to be some kind of terrorist attack. I think we'll hear later from aviation experts who can analyse exactly kind of the processes that would go on there. This aircraft took off from Paris. Paris has been locked down already. The streets are patrolled by the military. Charles de Gaulle Airport has got to be one of the most watertight environments, very, very strictly controlled access to the airport itself and then to the aircraft. But it had been on a sort of circuit, if you like. It had already flown that day through Asmara, the capital of Eritrea, and through Carthage in Tunisia. And then on to Paris and then back to Egypt. So it's conceivable there could have been an opportunity to sneak something on board. But again, this is all entirely speculative. There's all inevitably going to be questions over whether or not, if it's terror, could it be an example of Islamic terror? And again, I would caution all of us in the media and in the wider population to be careful about that. In Oslo, in the early days of the Breivik attacks, there was speculation that there'd been a bomb in the capital and that there was Islamists were behind it, and neo-Nazi white guy was behind it. So even if it's a terrorist attack, there could be a number of different possible suspects. But I think the critical thing, the latest piece of information, is this 10 minutes in which there was communication in one direction with the aircraft and no response. I think that is going to be something that experts will be focusing in on.
We were talking about the discrepancies in terms of information. Ultimately, it comes out in the wash, doesn't it? Not least because, OK, it's an Egyptian-flagged plane, but it's Airbus who will give information. They've already issued a statement, indeed. You've got the French involved. They've just spent a Falcon reconnaissance aircraft, which was looking for migrants in the Mediterranean. It's now been diverted to help the search for what may be wreckage, what may be nothing. Who knows? We'll find out in the fullness of time. But in terms of what was happening on that aircraft itself, yes, 66 people, 10 crew, of whom 3, we're told, were sky marshals.
Yeah, I think that's an unusual development, but not one that is entirely unexpected. In a sense, it should be reassuring in that there was a great deal of criticism following the downing of the Metrojet Russian airliner over the Sinai out of Sharm el-Sheikh, because it was possible for a ground handler to sneak a bomb on board, and there were serious questions. In fact, indeed, large numbers of airlines cancelled their operations out of Sharm el-Sheikh until the Egyptians got their security squared away. Similar thing happened at Cairo airport, a lot of effort being put in there. The Egyptians clearly have responded by putting an unusually large number of sky marshals on aircraft. I mean, the numbers that any country puts on board as a matter of routine are kept secret for obvious reasons. But I personally know, I mean, the Israelis, El Al never flies anywhere without a number of sky marshals, as I happen to know that Ethiopian Airlines do too. They always have armed sky marshals on board. So that is an interesting sign that the Egyptians, at any rate, were getting more serious about aviation security, not least because, of course, there was that other incident in which somebody with a fake suicide belt was able to hijack a plane, and again, an Egyptian airliner out of Alexandria was forced to land in Cyprus. And, of course, that was a slight catch-22 from the Egyptian perspective, since it was a fake suicide belt. Well, of course, you can sneak a fake something on board, especially something that looks like a suicide belt with some shampoo bottles. But that was the whole system erring on the side of caution rather than calling